Good morning to you. A Lolo family is terrorized by a stranger who tore pieces from their home and tried to break inside. Coming up, this incredible story. And a local man steals thousands from a town pump store. Coming up, how he did it and how he used the money. Good morning to you. Welcome to your Tuesday. I'm Missy O'Malley with Chet Lehman. Rain jacket off.
It's right over there, though. I'll be putting it back on when I go back out onto the patio. Yeah, it's just that annoying rain. Do it. If you're going to rain. That's it. And it's going to. Don't get me wrong. It's coming. It will be here.
Careful what you wish for,
no,
Chet Lehman.
No, I just commit. Yeah. Come on, people, commit. Here's what we're looking at for your current conditions outside right now. You can see 30s for the most part. Ennis right now at 47 degrees, but they've had gust of winds over in the Ennis area around 28 miles an hour.
Wow.
So Norris Hill could be a little challenging. So could the VC Hill. Be ready for that. 6-mile-an-hour winds, 32 in Twin Bridges right now, 30 in West Yellowstone, 30 in Dillon. Little breezy there. That's kind of the way the day is going to shape up. Gray, fully committed to rain because we're only going to warm up into the 40s. Snowflakes early could turn into raindrops back into snowflakes for the evening. Bozeman could see an inch of snow by this time tomorrow, they're saying. Drops and flakes in the Butte area as well, temperatures into the low 40s. Take heart, though, change is coming by the end of the week. Detailed forecast, Missy, coming up in 10 minutes.
Thank you for that, Chet. Now, new for you this morning, a bizarre story, a terrifying story of a Lolo family targeted by a man for no known reason. On Sunday, the Jenkins family was preparing to go to church when they got a petrifying phone call. Their niece was being chased through Lolo by an unknown man. That stranger then came to the home and attempted to break into it while tearing off pieces of the home and using them as weapons. MTN's Connor McCauley has more on this bizarre story.
I was afraid that I was going to hear my niece get murdered on the phone because she called me when he started to try and run her off the road.
Barbie Jenkins recalled the horrifying account of her Sunday, which according to court documents was all due to this man, Robert Washburn. Washburn attempted to run her niece Katie off the road and then chased her through Lolo to Barbie's house.
I saw the car come barreling across our yard at about 60 miles an hour and plowed into our deck.
Washburn then attempted to break into the home while Barbie, her 2 kids, and Katie were inside.
We're just in absolute terror because he was trying to break into the house. He was kicking at the glass door and he ripped the gutters off the house and he tried to break the glass with the gutters, and then he got up on top of the roof, which is split level, and he started to try to kick his way into the house, which would have put him into our living room if he was successful.
It's at this point Barbie's husband Al got home and attempted to subdue Washburn.
When I pulled up, he came to the edge of the roof. He just had an evil look in his eye. It wasn't a human look at all. And he walked back and forth and he said, "Are you ready for this?" At which point I lied and said yes, and I said bring it, because I knew I had to keep my family safe.
Al then fought with Washburn until he had him somewhat subdued. That's when Al's niece Katie helped out with the rest.
I was able to then push him to the edge of the deck and basically detain him, and at which point Katie came around and said, "I have your gun," and I said bring it to me. At that point I put it to his head, told him to drop. He said, "I'm going to sit down." But he wouldn't. Katie ran to her car where she had another gun.
2 guns pointed in Washburn's direction finally got him to the ground until law enforcement arrived.
Honestly, didn't feel fear right then. I did later. At that point in time, all I knew was that my family was inside, and it was up to me to do everything that I could to keep them safe.
Just insane, absolutely insane. I knew that if he got in the house, somebody was going to die.
In Missoula, Connor McCauley, MTN News.
Wow. Now, Washburn made his initial appearance in court yesterday. His bail set at $250,000. And then a former employee at a Bozeman town pump store goes back to his old workplace and takes thousands of dollars in cash from a safe. MTN News was there as Timothy Heiser made his initial court appearance yesterday.
I've been a cop for a long time, and a lot of time when people are desperate, they don't steal this much money.
Court documents show it happened shortly after 7 a.m. on Saturday. Timothy Heiser, accused of stealing more than $11,000 out of his former boss's safe, was in court to be charged with felony burglary 2 days later.
He knew where the employee restricted area was, and this place is not monitored when the business is busy.
Officer Jesse Holton says Heiser shut off the lights to remove 2 bank bags out of the safe, an act that was all caught on camera. And then Holton says he used it.
He did use some of it to pay bills, but at the same time, we're still missing a significant amount.
According to court documents, Heiser spent some of the money on a phone bill and then his wife's car payment and his child's daycare bill. When police tracked him at home, Heiser took off, leading them on a short, high-speed chase. Holton says it's an example of a bad decision following bad circumstances.
I deal with some of the guys that come in as transients, and I've watched them get transitional housing and make it on their feet. So even if you're on hard times, you don't need to steal.
Now, Heiser could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. His bail was set at $25,000. And a roundup man is facing almost 24 charges from 2 poaching incidents. And it's not the first time that he's been in trouble for illegally killing animals. The arrest comes after 3 trophy bull elk were killed last August at night, during a closed hunting season. 23-year-old Earl Russell Beans was arrested after a tip came in from a concerned citizen. Beans is charged with 2 felonies, criminal endangerment for discharging a handgun in close proximity to another person, and aggravated cruelty to an animal for shooting 1 bull elk in the neck with a handgun and leaving it to suffer for an extended time before it died. He's also facing 19 misdemeanors, including hunting with his privileges suspended after being convicted for running down antelope with his vehicle in 2018. And state lawmakers on Monday got an earful from relatives of people incarcerated at the state prison. They said the state's new policies on visitation at the prison are limiting vital time with their loved ones. Now, the state's rules require visitors to register and sign up online instead of coming to the prison at Deer Lodge on a first-come, first-served basis. The prison also increased visiting days from 2 days a week to 4, but the state is now limiting each inmate to only 1 2-hour visit per week. Inmates' relatives and their advocates told a legislative committee on Monday that the prison also reduced the number of visiting tables and sometimes cancels visits because of staffing shortages. Now, those speaking for the inmates said visits not only help prisoners stay close to their family, but also gets them ready to transition back into society, and that more visiting time is needed. And the Bozeman City Commission voted to approve the Community Housing Action Plan late last night. The plan has been in the works since April and seeks to address housing needs in Bozeman over the next 5 years. A housing assessment study reported that between 5,400 and 6,300 housing units are needed in the next 5 years to address the current housing shortfall for residents and for the workforce. Now, some of the main objectives of the plan include ensuring community housing, serving a full range of incomes, and producing housing at a rate at least that matches the job growth. Now, Deputy Mayor Chris Mell says community involvement is essential for the plan to work. Here's another important note. We've been notified that the city of Bozeman's affordable housing manager was fired last week. The city wouldn't comment any further on that employment's privacy issues. And Montana Congressman Greg Gianforte's campaign for governor is getting some help from the First Family. Donald Trump Jr. will be in Helena on Sunday for a Gianforte campaign fundraiser. The fundraiser invitation says Trump Jr. and his girlfriend will be special guests at the evening event at the Montana Club in downtown Helena. Gianforte is one of 3 Republicans running for governor. 4 Democrats are also in the race, which has an open seat. And 6:38 here on your Tuesday morning. Stay with us. In a moment, we're going to head to a military base in North Carolina where a bomb range has helped save a rare butterfly species from extinction. Very cool story for you in just a moment. But right now, let's check in with Tony DeCopel to see your headlines coming up at 7 here on CBS.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, impeachment hearings take a new turn this morning as we hear from the first witnesses who were on the Ukraine phone call. We'll talk with Major Garrett about what to expect. And in her first television interview, a woman who says she was sexually assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein tells us what life was like inside his home. We'll see at 7.